the semifinals Tuesday night at Williams Arena. This is Bruce Frank along with Steve Lukens. Steve, we are in the second or possibly the third season, and for one of these teams, suddenly it is spring. For the other, they advance.
The third season begins with the preseason being prior to Christmas, the second season being the conference season, and now the third season, the one that is really the one that matters when we see who gets into the state tournament, the Big Eight coming out of the 8 regions, and Anoka certainly has to be one of the favorites in Region 4 as they take on the Stillwater Ponies, a team that struggled throughout the year but has great explosive capabilities. Their biggest drawback for the course of the year has been shooting, and they don't seem to be very consistent in their selection of shots, but they do have the ability to score well with people like Kevin Clancher and Jeff Hoffman, 2 outstanding shooters and scorers. We'll just see if Stillwater has the horses to hang with a team like Anoka, who we know after game after game after game has been a very solid, strong inside game with good point guard and a decent passing off guard in Hatampa.
The Stillwater Ponies got here. They were seeded 8th. They defeated number 9 Hill Murray 64-35. In other basketball this afternoon, Coon Rapids, the number 5 seed, visits Irondale. The Knights were seeded 4th, thereby drawing a first round bye. Coon Rapids was forced to play Tartan in the first round. They won 91-43. In the lower bracket, Blaine drew a bye, the number 3 seed. They take on White Bear Lake today. The Bears won over Spring Lake Park. The Bears seeded 6th. The final in that one, 86-59. And also in the bottom bracket, North St. Paul with a 1-point win over Centennial. The Bowlers seeded 7th. They travel to Mounds View to take on Siggy Call's Mustangs, the number 2 seed. And we will go from 8 today to 4 on Tuesday.
Yeah, like you said, Bruce, it's suddenly going to be spring for a few people. 4 teams are going to be in, or excuse me, 8 teams are in it, 4 teams in spring, 4 teams in the semis at Williams Arena. And I know from talking to a variety of players from Blaine and Anoka and Coon Rapids teams that it's a dream to play on the same court with history, where history was made by people like Michael Thompson and Kevin McHale and Willie Burton, and now you go out there and you get to play on the same floor. Yeah, that's really an exciting opportunity, and it'll be fun to see who ends up coming into that Final Four. There's no question that this group of teams left in Section 4 is outstanding, with teams like Blaine, who we know is explosive enough to win at any time. A team like Anoka, who is a bona fide champion, 2-time conference champion in the Twin Cities Suburban, and then bringing in Mounds View, who is a perennial power and in the state tournament last year. It'll be exciting to see who that 4th team is, assuming those other 3 win.
We will take a break, and we will be back with more from the Fieldhouse in Anoka in 2 minutes. Great gas and good goods available 24 hours a day at your locally owned Super America stores. Try Supermom's fresh baked rolls or Supermom's deli sandwiches. Movie rentals are available. Catch your favorite oldie or a new release. Stop in and check out the Super Buy of the Week at your local Super America station stores, East and West Main in Anoka, and Bunker Lake and Round Lake Road in Andover.
Just for the more than 40 programs.
You're listening to the Anoka fight song as the cheerleaders are up, entertaining a pretty good crowd here for a Saturday afternoon basketball game. Fans to continue to filter in, and we may have a full house here for the matchup between Stillwater, 5-18 overall, Anoka 20-3 on the year. And here's Steve Lukens with the starting lineup for the Anoka Tornadoes.
All right, we've seen this one year long. They've only played about 7 people regularly, and they've started the same 5 all year. We come in with the perennial point guard. He's been there from game 1. Troy Beckman, he's a 6'5 senior. done a great job leading the conference of Twin Cities Suburban in assists by a long margin. And then we go to Aaron High Tampa, the other senior, kind of a swing player. He's listed as a guard. He's a 6'3" player and the smallest player in the starting lineup. We go to 3-year starter, only a junior, Brian Dowdy. He'll be wearing number 45 tonight, and he's probably the best all-around player. We had Matt Adler, the 6'7" center, also a junior, and rounded out with the leading percentage shooter in the conference, Dan Novotny, the 6'5" senior.
We will now have the national anthem brought to you by the Anoka High School Winter Activity Band. For the Ponies, again, 5-18 on the year, a disappointing season for veteran coach Dwayne Muchler in his 20th year. They will start Brian Muchler, a 5'8" guard, a senior, number 20, and also in the backcourt will be Mark Hildy, a senior 6-footer, wears number 24. Up front, it'll be Kevin Clancher, a junior, 6'3", along with Tobin Scott. Scott is a junior, wears number 42, and he is a junior. And the postman, Jeff Hoffman, a 6'2" junior, and Steve Anoka with a definite height advantage. Stillwater, to be effective, has got to control the tempo.
And even that saying in itself plays into Anoka's hands, because they are a slow-down tempo type of team, but there's no question that they have to practice strict ball control or they're going to be in a lot of trouble. It's going to be interesting to see where they try to attack the Tornadoes. I would assume if Anoka will come out in a man-to-man like they normally play, you're going to have to see a reversal of the ball and try and get some good 15, 18-foot jump shots and then have 4 guys crash on the boards, because Anoka doesn't like to run. So I think Stillwater can send 4 people to the boards and just hope to bang some shots in on the rebounds. But the size has really got to be a detriment to Stillwater's.
These teams played in the first game of the conference, and Anoka won by 2 at Stillwater, 54-52, and then came here later in the season, and the Tornadoes with an 18-point win, 72-54. We'll be back with the opening tip-off of this matinee from Anoka in 90 seconds. Great. We're back. The officials, Dennis Schimmel and Jim Murray, and again, the crowd continues to come in. We should have both sides of these bleachers filled from end to end as we're ready to jump it up and get this one underway. Adler will step in against Hoffman. Hoffman number 54, Adler wears 51. Tip controlled by Anoka, and trying to run it down with Tampa. Couldn't do, as it'll be out of bounds to the Ponies. With a throw-in, Clancher gets it into Muchler. Muchler is the point guard. He'll set the offense to Hoffman.
The one thing that Stillwater does have on the floor is a lot of experience, with Muchler playing some varsity ball as a sophomore and then starting all of his junior year. And then, of course, Hoffman is a very powerful player, and Clancher, the quarterback for the football team, should provide some leadership. So this could be a good contest. See how it opens up.
Clancher forced a shot. Here's Adler with a turnaround jumper. Won't go, and the Ponies come back on the break. Ball lost by Muchler, saved by Anoka as it comes back into the hands of Adler. Nice job there by Tampa on the save.
Great hustle by Beckman, too. Both of those two have been notorious all year for frustrating opponents defensively, and
Dowdy's going to get
right
called
there
for traveling. So the Tornadoes come down, turn it over, and Stillwater's Muchler brings it up. Bounce pass left side. Hoffman out on top to Scott.
One way to try and neutralize the height of Anoka is to spread the court and run a perimeter weaving type game. Pass and pick away, and try and get the 15-foot shot at the elbow. They got 3 straight nice shots. None have fallen.
Adler with the rebound on the lob inside. Knocked away, stolen by Stillwater. Back-to-back turnovers by Anoka, and back comes Muchler, and the ball is knocked out of bounds. Nice play defensively by the Tornadoes.
Yeah, that was a nice play by Beckman. Muchler's got great quickness, and Beckman took a perfect angle there to knock the ball away. And now this is, of course, where Anoka's tough. They get to set up people in the lane, pack it in, and force Stillwater to try and shoot over him.
Inbound, Hoffman, turn around, shot goes, and he'll go to the free throw line. A little inbound toss to Hoffman. He immediately turned, went to the basket, got it to drop, and is fouled on the play. Beckman picks up the personal, and he will go to the free throw line now to try to complete a 3-point play.
What a great power move. He's got Novotny on one side and Beckman on the other. He made a nice move into the lane and kind of ducked between the two of them and made a great job, did a great job of getting that ball up on the rim nice and softly.
Hoffman makes the free throw. That's our first points of the game. 3-0 in favor of Stillwater. Muchler challenges Beckman, who brings it across the timeline on the dribble. Dowdy lob to Adler, back to Dowdy in the corner. Worked the ball, he got the open man, jumper in and out, won't go. Adler came down with a rebound and had it stripped out of his hands, but was fouled on the play. Picking up the personal, number 42, Tobin Scott.
Because Stillwater has to be so physical inside, you're going to see Anoka be able to reverse the ball and get open jump shots on the weak side, because they have to play ball side so strong against that height that you should see Tampa and Beckman get some open 15-footers on the weak side.
Dowdy on Muchler. Ball into the corner, Muchler with it. Dowdy takes him into the lane. Dealt off right side, jumper, no. As Hildy missed the jump shot, and the rebound comes down to Anoka. Again, Steve, the Tornadoes only give you one shot, and then they're clearing the boards.
Another turnover. Anoka a little hesitant here, and instead of taking the ball right to the hole like we've seen them do, they've missed 3 easy shots and had 3 turnovers.
I noticed that in Novotny's shot in their last possession.
Of course, Novotny shot almost 70% for the season. He's not used to missing 7-footers.
Shot forced inside, picked off by Adler. He'll leave it in the backcourt as their Tornadoes bring it up quickly. This is Beckman, the 6'5" point guard. Tampa to Dowdy in the paint. Lob on the give and go. He had the pass set up beautifully to Beckman, and we get a whistle. We have a foul call.
That was a really nice look there. Dowdy did a nice job of facing the basket. Pass might have been a little bit too late, either that or Beckman cut too deep, but the results were nice. You get one more foul toward the bonus, and you got the ball out underneath your own basket.
Muchler picks up the personal, his first. Second team foul on the Ponies. Anoka with 1. On the lob to Adler. Pretty play. Adler tipped it at the top of his jump as it was laid up over the cylinder.
I thought that ball to Adler was going to be up on the top of the square. I didn't think he could get up like that. Did a great job of timing that. Perfect tip and a perfect pass.
Little eye contact with Beckman, who laid it up there.
The one thing Stillwater can't do is panic. Now, I know that Muchler has the green light to shoot the 3, and he's a good 3-point shooter, but they came back. He was 1-on-3, and he shot that 3-pointer from 20 feet.
Dowdy cutting through the back door, and his shot won't go. Loose ball knocked out of bounds to the Ponies. Last touch by Brian Dowdy.
You have to have some patience and poise underneath the basket. You want so badly to get things rolling that you hurry things. Brian lost the handle that time. They're so dominating in size. I think they can take their time, kick the ball in and out, and get the nice power move, but not to panic.
4:40 left here in the first half. 3-2 Stillwater lead. We've not had a basket scored in the last couple of minutes. Ponies Scott on the drive, blocked, and Novotny rips it away.
That was a
Nice
job.
play by Novotny.
Go straight up. He didn't extend his arm or we would have had a foul. He went straight up and blocked it with his elbow.
Beckman, High Tampa's jumper. Yes! Aaron High Tampa gives Anoka their first lead. That comes at 4:02.
We've seen an example there of that ball reversal. Pass it to one wing, back to the point. Easy weak side shot for Tampa. There's good ball movement by Stillwater.
Clancher's shot won't go.
This has been Coach Muchler's nightmare all year. Open 15-footers, open 15-footers. They just can't get them to fall, and they're going to have to make those to have any chance of winning today. There's no doubt about that.
Beckman brings it across the 10-second line, deals it off to Dowdy. Dowdy to Adler. Adler forced that shot as he was in the paint from 8, and back come the Ponies on the hustle. Open is Muchler. His shot won't go. Hoffman with the rebound. And it'll be out of bounds to Stillwater. Front court near side.
Anoka maintaining that tradition that they've had for years of pressuring the ball very effectively and forcing people to move. They overplay passing lanes very well, and they're doing the same thing tonight. Really pressuring the basketball.
Scott on the drive, and that's knocked away. Nice defense by the Tornadoes as they come back. Dowdy holds it high overhead. Gets it out on top. They find High Tampa again, this time, and no. And the rebound comes down to the Ponies. Hitting the board that time was Tobin Scott. Scott with it on the dribble. Cut off, they work it inside and find Hoffman. Hoffman goes with the left hand and banks it off the glass.
That was a great athletic move. I think that was Clancher, actually, that made the basket. Hard to tell the difference, but a great athletic move by the also quarterback for the Pony football team. That's the only chance that they have taking it inside is to make acrobatic shots. I'm kind of surprised they don't continue to move around the perimeter and take the 15-footers and crash the boards like they did early.
Josh Campbell into the game for the Ponies as Clancher makes the three-point play. Clancher with a three-pointer, Hoffman with a three-pointer, and Anoka with 4. Back come the Tornadoes. Got Adler open. He hits a 7-footer from the right side. Adler squared, released it softly, and got it to drop.
And a good job by Beckman of pushing the ball up the court when he saw the opportunity. There's a goal.
Clancher goes to the basket, and I think we'll have a goaltending call against Anoka. So Clancher gets the bucket, his 5th point of the game, and Stillwater leads 8-6.
A little scary when the smallest person on the team goes up over the rim and knocks the ball away. Wondering what the rest could do.
Nobody home. Beckman had anticipated a baseline cut, not coming, and the turnover, the ball goes back to the Ponies. Campbell. Work it out on top to Clancher on the dribble. Deals it off to Hildy. Far side, stolen away by Anoka.
Nice play by Novotny. He was out of position momentarily, but recovered very quickly and tipped that pass away.
Beckman backs Campbell to the free throw line. Jumper by Dowdy, in and out, won't go. And the rebound comes down to the Ponies. Just jumper in and out as Scott couldn't get it to drop. And Anoka again allowing just one shot as they come back. Dealt off by Beckman to Adler. And Adler hits almost from the identical spot where he cashed in last time. We're tied at 8.
2 nice jump shots there by Adler. We haven't seen him do much of that this year. He's been in on the block. He's backing out to about 10. And that was a very nice soft shot.
Adler, one of the conference leaders in scoring behind Shad Weeks. Knocked away, saved by the Ponies, but bounces off a Tornado into the hands of Adler. Bounce pass Dowdy with the easy basket. That's another nice assist.
Yeah, great unselfish ball movement. Novotny could have made the shot himself, but passed off for the easier one.
Hoffman, turnaround jumper, no. And we have a foul called. And
I
a
think Tampa
shooting
got him
foul.
on the arm there. Heard the slap all the way over here.
Tampa with his first personal, third team foul on Anoka as the Tornadoes lead 10-8. Stillwater substitutes Rob Wallace, 6'3" postman, only a junior, number 52. Hoffman's free throw's good. It's ready to shoot the second one. A 1-point Anoka lead as we've got just under 40 seconds remaining here in the first quarter.
A little bit of a sluggish start here for both sides. A little erratic, which you got to feel is an advantage for Anoka. They haven't shot well so far. They have an uncharacteristic high number of turnovers, and they're still tied 10-10, so no need to
Steve,
panic.
one of the things you have to think about is Anoka's had an 8-day layoff. Stillwater played on Wednesday night.
And yeah, exactly. I discussed that with a couple of the coaches who had buys the first round, and that is a concern. When you're used to playing 2 times a week, and all of a sudden you have an 8-day break, that's going to affect you.
It's a turnaround jumper from the left base. So Anoka regains the lead, 12-10. Here's a 3, won't drop. Picked off by Wallace. Turnaround jumper taken, and that's smothered. Hoffman let the shot go, and he had it smothered. That's like a cap going off in your hand. Poof.
Adler can just get up there with that long reach and just stuff it right straight down, which you've seen him do twice already this afternoon.
Adler's 6'7", and he plays a little taller than 6'7". Shot is short. The follow-up at the buzzer, no good. At the score after 1 is Anoka 12, Stillwater 10. Steve and I'll be back with the second quarter in this Section 4 quarterfinal round game in 60 seconds.
And Beckman
and Novotny. We are back for the second quarter on the possession arrow favoring the Ponies.
Should be Anoka's ball. There hasn't been a possession since the opening tip, which went to Stillwater, so we should see the ball in Anoka's favor. They haven't called a held ball yet. Looks like the officials are in a little disarray over there.
Yeah, which way the arrow is pointing? It is pointing in favor of Anoka, so they're going to come over to the near side and right in front of our vantage point and get things underway. Troy Beckman will do the throw-in for the Tornadoes from midcourt. Looks for the open man. Gets to tie Tampa backcourt now. Beckman across the timeline, looks in. High Tampa to Novotny, and Novotny gets called for traveling.
Boy, a nice job by Stillwater of laying off, giving the illusion of an open player on the block, and then really jumping hard and bodying up. And Novotny having a little trouble getting his normal power move in. Traveled twice now from the block.
Muchler back into the game, gets the pass. They've got Lentz in, number 30. Jumper fired up, it's good. Clancher with the basket, number 34. Hits the bucket, and back comes Anoka. Beckman loses balance, but delivers the pass to Novotny. Novotny got the pass as he was going to the basket, all in one move, banked it in off the glass.
That time he did a much better job of getting his hip squared to the basket, catching the ball in position to score.
Adler goes up over everyone with those long arms to pull down that rebound. Leave it for Beckman, the 6'5" point guard in the front court. Dowdy's lob inside to Adler, and we have a foul called on Rob Wallace, I do believe, as he made contact with Adler.
That's one thing that Dowdy does so well. Before the pass ever touched his hands, he was going to the block with the pass. He has a sense of the game, knowing Adler had position. So many young players hang on to that ball too long, and by the time they make the pass, the block is defended, and they end up throwing a ball that's tipped away.
Dowdy with
beautiful backdoor.
And a backdoor play to Clancher. He hits the basket, tying the game at 14. Nice play with Clancher cutting along the back door. Beckman to Dowdy. Dowdy looks to Adler, nothing there. Now to Tampa. Novotny comes out on top. Now into Adler, stripped out of his hands. Clancher made the play, and Mutchler up with a loose ball.
Nice job defensively of collapsing on the ball.
Ball goes in the back court, and we're going to have an over and back. I thought the ball was touched by
Interesting call.
Anoka.
I don't agree with that call, not to get on the bad side here, but
No.
I think Beckman did tip that ball away, and Mutchler picked it up, with which should have been a legal possession.
An over and back call as it goes inbound to Tampa. This is cross court to Adler. On top, Dowdy for three. Shot short as it bounces off the front end of the iron. And back comes Stillwater on the hustle. That pass intercepted. Lentz had a notion, but threw it right to an Anoka player. Adler looks inside. Back to Dowdy. To Adler. Lob taken by Novotny, no good. Novotny's put back, gets it to drop. Dan Novotny couldn't get it to go the first time, but stayed with it and got the second one to drop.
Great persistence. He was being hammered all over the place there, and comes up with a great steal.
Bounced it right off his foot,
Unfortunately,
and the ball was out of bounds.
That ball, the ref's part of the floor, that ball has to go. That ball has to go to Stillwater. This is a correct call. He dribbled it off the official. It's the last player in control of the basketball. This is a good call by the official. He's part of the floor.
Inbounded by the Ponies, back court to Mutchler. 5', 8" quarterback, sets the offense. Worked the ball to Hildy. Back to Mutchler, to Hoffman. Putting this weave on.
They're not running it very smoothly right now. That's 4 straight passes that have been bobbled and dropped. It's tough to run an effective weave when every pass goes off your hands to the floor.
Yeah, it's a little choppy. As the ball comes to Scott. Clancher open. His shot comes off the back. Loose ball. Picked up by Stillwater. And they hit the second shot. Hoffman on the follow-up.
Boy, he is
and
fearless.
Infrequently, they've been getting that second shot. And this time they get it to pay. Behind the back by Dowdy. He puts the show on for Anoka as he finds Novotny, who hits the bunny.
That's a little bit demoralizing when you have the great offensive play on one end come back and you have a 6'5" swing player make a pass like that right on the money, and you get scored on in transition. But that doesn't detract from the great job that Hoffman's doing on the offensive boards. He's really battling at a height disadvantage.
18-16, Anoka by 2 as we approach 4 minutes. The drive by Tampa hung on the rim. The follow-up no good, and we have a foul called. Going to the free throw line will be Dan Novotny. Picking up the personal was Tobin Scott. His second personal, 15 foul on the Ponies. Ball loose. Shot fired up. Yes! Novotny got the kiss as it hung on the rim. Looked like it was going to fall away, and it dropped through.
Did a nice job just to get that ball up on the rim, as off balance as he was.
Mutchler for 3. Stillwater comes up, picks him up, half-court pressure. Beckman into the lane, deals it off. Novotny shot good. Credit Troy Beckman making that play go as he finds Novotny for the basket inside. Steve, we're looking at Anoka shot chart. We're not going to find too many taken further than 12 feet from the bucket. That 3 that was missed by Dowdy, but they're taking high percentage shots.
Yeah, and they have all year. And that's why they've been successful. They've forced teams to have to play in the paint. And then Dowdy and Tampa are good enough perimeter shooters that eventually they'll start taking those shots. But if you were to look at the makes from the perimeter, I think we would have one, and that was a shot made by Tampa. The rest have been just like that. Great moves inside.
Bounce pass from Beckman to Dowdy, who drove the baseline, got it and went to the basket and put it up and in. And that makes it a 5-point Anoka lead, and Stillwater wants to talk it over. throw-in from the backcourt to Muchler. Steve, the next 3 minutes, I think, is crucial for Stillwater not to let this game get out of hand.
Yeah, they're in a position now that they could easily go in at halftime down 12, which is an area you don't want to be at against Anoka.
Scott almost lost the ball.
They need to handle the ball and set better picks. They're not setting very good picks, and their timing of their pass isn't very effective. They've got to get that open jumper, let Hoffman crash the boards, and pass like that'll help. Nice block by Hatampa
lob
there.
Inside to Scott, won't go. Follow-up, and the rebound pulled down by Dan Novotny. Novotny playing at both ends.
It's just, it never ends. You go in and you got a 6'3" swing player blocking your shot, then you got Adler blocking your shot, then you got Novotny. They're all there.
Novotny looking for an outlet pass, and the Tornadoes come back and stuff Muchler. Here's a three, no. Won't go, rebound pulled down by Danielson. And we get a foul call. Number 32 is Nate Danielson, the younger brother of Darren Danielson, who had a tremendous career at Stillwater.
And Nate's going to be a fine player, too. He didn't play very much early in the season, has played more and more as the season's progressed.
6'1" sophomore. Anoka with 3 sophomores on their regional team.
And they had a really nice JV. These sophomores played JV ball. They finished second in the conference by a half a game. They played an extra game against Hill Murray, but had a very nice, I think it was 10-3 record over the JV season. So they'll be a nice team next year with these 3 sophomores.
Danielson makes them both.
Of course, Clancher only a junior as well.
24-21. Inbound pass stolen by Stillwater on the drive. Muchler shot short, and Adler out-muscles his teammates for the rebound.
That was the opportunity right there that we were talking about. Stillwater, Muchler makes that shot. It's a 1-point game. Now there's some confidence there. The timeout proves effective. Here they could go right back down by 5, excuse me.
Roswick to Beckman. To Novotny, looks inside. Here's Adler, 18 feet from the cylinder. And he'll get called for traveling.
There you've got Anoka's patented flex offense where they just everybody picks a spot on one of the corners of the free throw lane and one runs the baseline. They pick and pass, but you get the wrong guy up on the elbow. You don't want him handling the ball, and I'm sure that's what Coach Tank was just yelling. You get back inside and pick down where we can get you the ball.
Scott with it. Shot fired up by Wallace, no good. And it'll be out of bounds to Anoka with 1:23 left here in the second quarter. Anoka with a 3-point lead.
I have been impressed with the intensity of the Stillwater team. A 5-18 team playing at this level. They're not giving up anything to Anoka, and that's really encouraging. Of course, the Dwayne Mutzler team's always going to play hard, especially in region time.
15-footer, yes! Wallace hits 15 from 15, and now it's a 1-point game with just under a minute left in the second quarter. Roswick lobs inside, Dowdy with the return. Find the open man, and the shot no good as Troy Beckman took his first shot, but Anoka comes away with it. Beckman works it inside to Novotny with 30 seconds left. Turnaround by Adler, no. Rebound won't go. Scott with the board.
Impressive rebound by Scott. The first one he outlets right to the backside of Mark Hildy, who's not supposed to get that outlet. Gets Coach Mutzler off the bench. Second one, he was a little more cautious. This could be interesting. They score here and go in ahead at halftime. Anoka hasn't been in that situation very often.
Ball stolen by the Tornadoes with 8 seconds to go. And given back. Pass into the front court. Campbell, the shot fired by Scott at the buzzer, I don't think would have gone as time runs out. But we go into halftime with our score. Anoka 24, Stillwater 23. Who'd have thunk it? We'll be back with the individual scoring summary in 2 minutes. Welcome back to the field house at Anoka. And here's Steve Lukens with a look at the individual scoring for the Anoka Tornadoes. Steve?
Well, Novotny was certainly a force in the late first and early second quarter, and he goes into halftime with 12 points. Really been strong inside on both offensive and defensive ends, but he has 12. Matt Adler, the 6'7" center, goes in with 6, and really hasn't taken a shot, I don't think, since early in the second quarter. Dowdy, the 3-year starter, with 4, and Aaron Hightampa rounds out the scoring with 2 for a total of 24. Over to Stillwater's side, the 7th leading scorer in the conference during the year, Kevin Clancher, the 6'3" junior, has 9. He's been playing extremely well. Jeff Hoffman has been a force on the boards. He has 7 points and has really been strong for them on the inside. Brian Muchler has 3 on a 3-pointer. Nate Danielson's hit a couple free throws for 2, and Rob Wallace rounds out the 23 points with 2 points on a field goal.
Steve, I think there's a lot of people here, primarily Anoka fans. They're saying, how can this be when the Anoka goes into intermission only up by 1? We talked when the score was 24-19 that was crucial for the Ponies. They held Anoka scoreless, and they picked up 4 points and go in just down by 1.
It's certainly a surprise, but maybe not uncharacteristic. They've been so dominant in the second half of most ball games. If you recall the Blaine Anoka game that we did a couple weeks ago, Anoka goes in up by 3. Next thing you know, they're up by 13, and maybe this is the spark that they needed to get themselves rolling in this region play. Sometimes you have a tendency as a #1 seed to go in when you've dominated people in your league and maybe have the edge be off a little bit, and you haven't really been competing to the level that you need to. Now they come in, they have to do a little gut check and come out and see if they're worthy of that #1 seed. They certainly don't have anything to be too discouraged about. They had turnovers that they normally don't have. You can correct those by getting people in the right spots. I think with what they did early was what we talked about. They get the ball on one side of the lane or on the wing, reverse it, and what you can do when you reverse the ball, you get it to the opposite wing, and as Adler slides across the lane, he's open, he gets leverage, and then they're forced to either foul him or double him, or he kicks the ball back out, and Dowdy or Hightampa has the open jumper. Stillwater, on the other hand, has to be very pleased with the intensity of their defense. They're still shooting very poorly, but their defense has been outstanding, and that's really been the area where they've held their own. They're hitting the boards better, but it's almost an uphill battle in every situation against a team as big as Anoka. They just have to stay on the defensive end and play hard, and I think they have a chance to make this an exciting game down the stretch. As I looked at it, I felt Stillwater had to take Beckman out of this game because primarily everything starts with a 6'5" point guard. And when Anoka made that run, went from a 1-point game to a 6-point game or 7-point game, he had 3 straight assists on very nice passes. When he gets leverage on you, and he's 6'5", and the opponent's point guard is 5'10", not only can he pull up for the jump shot, but mainly what he's going to do is he's going to take you all the way to the free throw line, and he's going to force that 3-on-2. And that's what he did very effectively. Well, then they started bringing out Clancher on him a little bit, who matches up a little better size-wise and quickness-wise, and Clancher really stalemated him the last 4 minutes of the half. Yeah, because when he was playing Muchler at 5'8", just didn't have the guns to get it done. We will take a break and be back with the second half of play from Anoka in pass to Hildy. Looking back at the stats here, not a lot of free throws shot, but Stillwater made 6. I think they were 6 for 7. Anoka did not attempt a free throw in the first half. Hildy on the drive as he takes into the lane, goes up soft with the left hand to hit the bucket, and Stillwater regains the lead, 25-24. It's got to be a big boost in the arm coming out, and that's even a bigger boost to get away with a foul and get a breakaway layup. Hoffman comes back, hits the bucket. Going down on the play was Dowdy. 27-24 now. Stillwater. This is a big boost for Stillwater to come right out and get 2 shots, and not only 2 shots, but 2 quality shots on the inside and score them both. Novotny's turnaround no good. He follows his shot and won't get it to drop, but on the play, he's fouled and will go to the charity stripe and shoot 2. Smart foul by Scott that time, hammering. The only thing you got to be careful of is you can't let Novotny get the ball. He's got such a soft touch inside. You can't let him get the ball up on the rim. When you hammer him from behind, you got to make sure his arms come down with the ball. For Scott, that is his 3rd personal, and he goes out. Wallace returns.
And Novotny at the free throw line, shooting 2. First one is good. They don't get much better than that, do they, Steve?
First free throw that they've shot, and it didn't hit anything but the bottom of the net.
Novotny's second one, likewise good. The 1-point game, Stillwater, 27-26. Into Hoffman. Hildy. Back to Muchler, directing traffic. Hoffman sends Clancher to the near side. Jumper by Wallace, no. Rebound pulled down by Dowdy.
Stillwater kind of running a version of Anoka's flex there, picking down and picking across. It out more to get those big people out of the lane.
Adler's shot in and out, won't go. Follow-up, yes! Novotny there, the opportunist, comes up with a rebound and gets the putback.
He got that rebound right under the basket. He did an excellent job of not only getting pressed back to get an angle, but also getting it up high enough that it had a chance to go in. That was a nice shot.
Interception as High Tampa pressures. Intercepted by Beckman. Bounce pass to Dowdy. Coming down the lane, and it's knocked away. And I think we'll have the ball out of bounds to the Tornadoes.
They called a foul there on Wallace. This is a situation that Coach Muchler can't afford to be in. Now both his big people have 3 fouls.
And with that, the Ponies want to talk it over. 5:59 left in the third. Anoka by 1. More basketball in 60 seconds. The Fieldhouse in Anoka. Again, the winner advances to play at Williams Arena Tuesday night at 8:15. And they will meet the winner of the Coon Rapids-Irondale game, which is being played right now.
There's a miss by Dowdy and an offensive rebound, and this could be really a disaster situation simply because it would put all that hard work from the first 2 minutes of the quarter goes for naught. As Anoka's now up by 4 again, they're right back in the same situation.
Novotny playing with a lot of confidence, Steve. He had 12 points at half, and he's their go-to guy right now. Ball knocked away by Beckman as he drills the ball over the end line. It'll be out of bounds to Stillwater.
Out of bounds to the cheerleaders. As
the bad hands. She said she got up and put on her bad hands today. I can relate to that.
No. Good cheers.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. Ponies inbound. Get it into Muchler. Out on top to Hildy. Back to Muchler.
You know, speaking of Novotny, you were just commenting on his always being in the right spot, and that's not by accident. He is a tireless worker, and I've heard from everybody in the league or everybody in the Anoka program that he is definitely the leader as far as work ethic. Tireless, goes from start to finish, and it pays off when it's game time. He always gets in the right spot. Wallace
hits the last basket. Turnaround jumper by Adler off the heel. Pulled down by Novotny, and they'll reset the offense with Dowdy. Lob inside. Novotny takes a look. Nowhere to go. And he got his elbow up and drove the defender off the play. That'll get called for an offensive foul.
Anoka has a history of dipping the shoulder when they get leverage and trying to pound their player toward the basket. They don't get caught very often, and refs usually allow that physical game. That time it was a little too obvious. The elbow came way out.
Almost put the defender in the 4th row. Over to the left side. Yeah. Jumper short, won't drop. Novotny with the rebound. Gets the outlet to Beckman. Beckman will bring it up uncontested as he comes into the front court. High Tampa open. His jumper, yes! He got the bounce off the front rim and a kiss off the glass, and it drops through.
Nice job. They take Tampa from the one wing, bring him on a double back pick and back up to the elbow. They just swing the ball around.
Muchler shot short. Fast break down court. Dowdy with a save. But it's picked up by the Ponies. Dowdy breaking as the shot went, but they just couldn't hook up on the pass. Hoffman deals it out near side. And hitting the three-pointer was Clancher. Steve Clancher's been quiet. Now all of a sudden he lights it up, making it a 1-point Anoka lead.
And I think he's the guy that's going to dictate the outcome of this game on Stillwater's behalf. He leading rebounder, leading scorer, leading shooting percentage person for Stillwater. He's got him. He can't afford to be quiet.
Muchler drives the base, sends it back out on top. Clancher into the paint, knocked away. Loose ball, he comes up with it. And as he tries to go to the basket, he gets fouled on the wrist and will go to the free throw line and shoot 2.
It wasn't pretty, but it was effective.
Picking up the personal foul, Troy Beckman, his second. Substitutions checking in for Stillwater. Number 12, Josh Campbell back in.
Clancher's really a nice athlete, obviously, with all the things that he does in the whole Stillwater athletic program. But he's so physical. He can play inside with somebody 3-4 inches taller than he is, and then he can go outside and hit that 18, 20-footer. And he's the type of player that's going to be reckoned with for sure as a senior next year. He could be one of the top players in the league.
Roswick checks in for Dowdy at the 3:17 mark. First free throw by Clancher, no good. Second free throw's good. Tie game, 33.
I'm impressed with Stillwater and their character. They're really playing a very nice game.
Very tenacious on defense.
They really are. And they're showing more patience offensively this quarter.
Tampa can't get it to drop. Roswick with a tentative follow. His shot wouldn't go. And then we get a whistle underneath and a foul called.
I think they waved off a foul. They just called that off of Hoffman out of bounds.
Lob in, Adler, turn around, forced it. Won't go, tipped up, and Clancher hits the board.
The only thing Stillwater's not doing a real nice job of is blocking out on the defensive end. If they're going to have any chance down the stretch, they've got to get Anoka's big people on their back.
Hoffman for 3. And Stillwater now leads 36-33 as we approach the 2.5-minute mark.
This is what we talked about before the game. Stillwater's going to have to move the ball on the perimeter and shoot well. They're shooting very well this quarter, and that's keeping them in this game and ahead.
Tampa lights it up for Anoka. 1 point Stillwater lead. And Steve, that was a must-score possession for Anoka.
It really was.
Put back by Wallace, and he's fouled on the play. Wallace came up with a loose ball under the basket, went up, put it in, and Roswick commits the foul. Wallace to the free throw line, looking to finish up the 3-point play.
The thing about that is they got the ball at the court quickly. Even after the 2-point basket, they forced the issue, and it forced Anoka to get out of position and almost double the block. Uncontested on the weak side was Rob Wallace because Anoka had to over-rotate. Nice tip-in basket.
Free throw doesn't go. Now
Again.
inside Novotny.
That's beautiful.
Pretty from Beckman. Beckman with the assist. Novotny hits the basket.
Just like you were saying, Bruce, if they let Beckman get going, he's going to get an assist. There's no doubt about it. He's got too much ability.
Bounce pass. Clancher, who's been the offense, to Campbell. One dribble, deals it off to Hildy. Now Clancher into the paint. Saw nothing. Hildy left-hander won't go. Rebound pulled out by Tampa.
The effects of a big man played out again there as Hildy turned around expecting to see a paw right in his face and really fired up a brick.
Shot by Adler, no good. On the pass from Novotny, and Hildy comes back on the dribble to the right wing, out on top. Hoffman on the drive, leans in, and we have a charging foul called on Hoffman as he leaned in to the defender. That's a tough call to make, Steve.
Yeah, especially on a passing situation. He had slowed his progress toward the basket, had dished off the ball and was coasting. That's a great acting job by Tampa. That was acting all the way. Academy Awards coming up the end of March, and that just got a Best Actor nomination.
First personal foul as the inbound pass is knocked away. Hoffman with his first personal also knocks it out of bounds in front of the Anoka bench. 3 team fouls on both the Ponies and the Tornadoes as we approach 1 minute remaining here in the third quarter. Ball kicked away by Beckman. Was out of bounds to Stillwater.
See,
I just sense Anoka not in sync.
Yeah.
And they're playing a little helter-skelter right now.
And the longer Anoka plays poorly, the more confidence Stillwater's getting. They're playing really nice defense right now.
Out on top to Hoffman. Gets it to Campbell. Bounce pass to Clancher. Clancher watched by High Tampa. Into the lane. Basket's good. And he's fouled on the play.
I thought he was going to call a travel there. I think
So
he
did I.
may have gotten an extra step on the pivot, but he was screened by the big horses inside. And really a nice touch shot. Clancher really taking over for Stillwater.
He's going to be their go-to guy. Has been in the third quarter. He will go to the free throw line to try and give Stillwater a 4-point lead. Clancher with a bend of the knee. Free throw banks it in. 4-point Stillwater lead. 41-37.
Somewhere Rick Barry is saying, hey, wait a minute now. You got to call that. You got to call that shot. This is a game of horse, isn't it?
Just about.
Nonetheless, it goes for a point.
Anoka will with a baseline. Shot tipped in. Novotny with a tip in. Oh, High Tampa's going to get it.
It looked like he tipped it, but I think it caught the rim instead of Novotny's hand and went in on its own. Nice touch from the baseline.
That was a big basket. But Stillwater comes down, they score. They're now up by 6 in the last seconds of the quarter.
Got 10 seconds to get a shot off, and Anoka, you see, that's twice in a row, really extending the defense now, leaving, usually Novotny will stay back, although he's the one that tipped that out. Just pressure. Look at the pressure on everybody that's moving toward the ball.
Campbell double teamed in the corner. Taken away by Anoka with 5 seconds left. Ahead, three-pointer. No! Just short.
Got a good
Aaron
look
High
at it.
Tampa just short for the 3. And we are played 3 quarters. Our score, Stillwater up by 2, 41-39. Back with the 4th quarter of play in 6th quarter. Beckman back to the basket, brings it up to Dowdy, who's back in. High Tampa. Working inside, turnaround jumper to Novotny, and he ties the game at 41. Dan Novotny with the basket.
That's the patient ball movement that Anoka needs to show.
Hoffman shot won't drop, and Dowdy goes up high and jerks down the rebound.
Crowd getting into it, wanting Anoka to regain that lead. They got to show patience. They don't need Adler out there. Get inside.
Bounce pass. They find Novotny. Novotny has his shot, I think, pinned along the board. We'll see whether they rule a basket or a foul.
I think he hadn't quite released the ball yet by the time that they blew the whistle. It was a foul from behind on Clancher.
No goaltending, so going to the free throw line is Novotny. For Clancher, it's his 2nd personal.
I'm a little surprised that Adler has spent the majority of this game somewhere outside the paint. It could be a strategy on the part of Dave Tank and his coaching staff, or again, maybe that Matt just isn't getting to the spots that they want him in. And he'll hear about it if he's not where he's supposed to be.
Novotny makes them both. Anoka regains the lead. 43-41. Campbell, front court. Works it over on the left side to Hildy. Now they get the ball to Lentz. Lentz pressured by Beckman. And it's out of bounds. And last touch by Anoka's Troy Beckman.
Look at Anoka. Just watch them overextend in the passing lanes. They do such a great job of 2 things. 1, they deny the pass fearlessly on the perimeter. And 2, they're so wonderfully coached on help side defense.
Lentz jumper won't go.
They can afford to.
Adler.
They can afford to overextend because their players are so well schooled on the weak side that they'll be there to help out. And it forces a very tough situation for a smaller Stillwater team.
Beckman backpedals in the front court. Turnaround jumper in and out. Won't drop. And the rebound comes down to Lentz.
Adler got away with a push foul there.
Ball into the corner. Controlling it was Scott, who's back in with 3 fouls. And then we're going to get an unintentional foul call there on Beckman. Beckman got a hand in, tried to knock the ball away. And Troy Beckman picks up his 3rd personal, and Hoffman checks back in Lentz goes to the Stillwater bench.
Interesting strategy, too, by Coach Muchler from Stillwater. Starting out the quarter, having two of his key players, Muchler and Hoffman, on the bench, giving him an extra 2 minutes of rest. Now they're going to have to make the hard push, and he knows it. They've got to sell out in this next 3 or 4 minutes, try and get the lead back.
Hoffman's jumper is short, and the rebound comes down, last touch by Anoka, and coming up with, I think, a little bit of a sprained ankle is number 52. That is Rob Wallace. But Wallace staying in. Gets the inbound pass, goes to the basket, and they're going to call the foul on Matt Adler.
That was pretty good defense by Matt Adler. He did a nice job of not falling for the head fake, which he was doing early in the year. Went straight up. It looked like they may have banged elbows, and hey, it's a judgment call at that point. The officials saw the elbows bang. It's a 2-shot free throw. Said and done.
Dennis Schimmels, Jim Murray, the officials. Free throw rolls around the cylinder and comes out.
Get the feeling that Dave Tank had some pretty serious words in between the third and fourth quarter. You mentioned that the assistants stayed out of the huddle. Dave Tank was in nose-to-nose with his starters, and the intensity's back. They seem to be a little more excited, and the crowd is right with them.
Wallace makes 1 of 2. 1 point Anoka lead. And we'll have a foul in the backcourt on Hoffman as he was guarding Dowdy in the backcourt. Second personal on Jeff Hoffman. 5th team foul on the Ponies. Inbounded by Anoka. By Tampa, front court Adler. Pull up, jumper's good. Adler from 9 along the right side. They need Adler to get back in the offense.
Yeah, that's where he has improved tremendously. Nice, as we see a great steal by Dowdy on the hustle back from the press. But Adler, he couldn't pull up and shoot a jump shot a year ago. Now he feels very comfortable, and it's shown. He's had 4 jump shots today and hit them all.
See what Anoka does on this possession. Beckman, Adler, 15 feet from the basket to Dowdy. Beckman, Dowdy's jumper in and out, and he gets the roll, and it drops back in. That makes it a 5-point Anoka lead.
Home sweet home. Gets the touch. He shoots on these baskets every day. He had no doubt. He was heading the other way as that was bouncing around on the rim.
Scott, Muchler, Wallace, back to Muchler. Muchler takes it back out. Scott, Hoffman, he's cut off, has nowhere to go. Lost his dribble. Stillwater working the perimeter, so we've got less than 5 minutes left. Here's a jumper by Scott, no good, and 4 Anoka maroon jerseys had him sealed off, but the ball was lost as the rebounder fell.
Boy, they called a big body that time by Beckman. A fortunate situation for Anoka that they called that on Dowdy and not Beckman, who would have 4. I was just going to say before that foul, I think Coach Muchler was on his knees praying over there that the clock would stop so he could get Clancher back in the game. He had been sitting there for 2 minutes. They got to have Clancher in this stretch.
You bet. He's been their offense consistently through the second, third, here in fourth quarter. And with that, Anoka wants to talk it over. The Tornadoes lead the Ponies 47-42 with 4:36 left here in the fourth. We'll be back. Dowdy with it. Managed to get in the front court to Beckman. Beckman by Tampa to Dowdy. The guy they want way out on top. Steve, they've got Adler way out on top.
I think they're just extending their flex out a little bit, spreading the court and just looking for backdoor cuts off the picks. They maybe don't care that Adler's out there because Novotny's been the go-to guy all night.
Novotny couldn't get it to drop as the ball came off the heel, but it's out of bounds. Last touch by the Ponies.
Dowdy pulling a little Bill Lambier there. Hoffman goes up, he gives him a little shove in the back. Ball gets bounced out of bounds, and here we are back with Anoka in possession.
Dowdy had a notion, but he had a hand in his face. That was Hoffman, the defender.
Excellent patience here by Anoka. Set it up. There's
Beckman
no hurry.
Watched by Muchler. Dowdy
There's
inside, one-hander.
Oh,
no! Won't go. Follow-up, yes. Big basket Dan Novotny, their money player,
Another
comes up with a follow.
Hildy on the three-pointer. That's not a very common shot for him. Great.
Not at all. 49-47. We approach 3:20 left here in the fourth quarter. High Tampa looks inside. Novotny back to Beckman. Beckman deals it off. I think they're going to say we had a little elbow action underneath. Tobin Scott, number 42, checks back in for Stillwater.
That is such a difficult situation when Beckman at 6'5" gets the angle to the baseline. You're forced to receive help, and then Novotny's so wonderful at posting up and showing that open hand. There's the three.
Dowdy with the basket. 51-47. Anoka by 4. Muchler gets it to Hildy.
Oh, they missed Hildy there, over the top.
Yep.
Anoka wasn't ready for that backdoor over the top.
Hildy shot short. Rebound, run down. Last touch by Hildy as he tried to get a handle on the loose ball. He was the last to touch it before it went out of bounds.
Good
Inbound to
hustle,
Beckman, shadowed there by Muchler. Beckman goes to the left hand. Sends it down the base. And we have a whistle and a foul called. I believe it'll be Scott who will pick up his 4th. As I say, let's see.
In this stage of the game, though, you got to leave him in. And they still have Wallace on the bench, even though he turned his ankle a little bit. He comes in, and they don't drop off much when Wallace comes in. They just got to keep banging. I see a sense of urgency on the faces of those Stillwater players. So Muchler, everybody playing intense, but they know they got to score on the offensive end. And that's where they've been a little bit cool here for the last minute and a half.
Adler misses them both. The rebound comes down to Novotny, taken away by Clancher, but he gets whistled for traveling. That is costly.
Yeah, I was just going to say, before that free throw, they can't afford to have the offensive rebound given up. They get the ball back, and then Clancher kind of stumbles, and that's really unfortunate for Stillwater. Great break for Anoka here. As they can go up by 6, it's a big uphill battle for Stillwater.
Anoka will pull it out. Beckman on the lob. Intended for Adler, and boy, they were not in sync on that at all.
Didn't lead him quite to the basket enough. He threw that ball about 4 feet behind him, and even Adler up at about 10.5 feet there couldn't get a hand on it.
Bringing it up is Muchler. 2:20 left here in the fourth quarter. On the drive is Hildy. We're going to have a blocking foul on the Tornadoes.
They called that on the floor, too, so I believe it's going to be a 1-and-1. It was before the shot, I think.
Adler with a personal foul, his second. And going to the free throw line will be Hildy. He will shoot 1-and-1. 2:17 left here in the fourth quarter. Anoka clings to a 4-point lead. I don't think this game has been more than a 6-point game, Steve, throughout.
Oh, it's been there. I think Anoka may have had a 7-point lead just momentarily, and then Stillwater came right back to cut it to 5. On the season, Hildy, a 60% free throw shooter.
In and out. Won't go. Clancher with the rebound and lost it over the end line. Had some help, though.
Those feelings, yeah, Adler got a hand in there, but that feeling, the pained look on Coach Muchler's face, I mean, they're so close every time. But Anoka, that experience really pays off, and the size is certainly taking its toll.
High Tampa brings it up, watched by Hildy. Pulls up from the three-point line between the circles. Gets it off to Beckman. Beckman's bounce pass inside. Shot won't go. And out of bounds, last touch by the Ponies.
Boy, that's 2 straight calls that 2 players touch it, it goes out of bounds. Anoka's the benefactor of both calls. They need a scorer. They need one right here.
Thrown out deep to High Tampa. Tampa gets it to Beckman. Beckman on the right side. Dowdy will let the jumper go. His shot won't drop. Loose ball, and Stillwater comes up with it. Clancher gets the pass.
Nice hustle that time by Tobin Scott, diving out of bounds to save that ball to Clancher.
Jumper's good. Hoffman hits the basket. A two-pointer makes it 51-49. And Anoka wants to talk it over with a minute 28. No, it's Stillwater with a minute 28 left. They trail by 2. We'll be back in a minute.
Just 4 of the more than 40 program majors that can help you discover career success. Call 427-1880.
Join the celebration going on at Art Goebel Ford, Coon Rapids. 92 is the 38th year Art Goebel Ford is bringing you quality Ford products and service. Taurus for 92, completely restyled. Crown Victoria, flagship of the Ford line, also totally new. The Tough F-Series pickups with a touch of class and added muscle. For a limited time, get APR financing as low as 4.8% or cash back up to $1,000 on selected models. Buy your new Ford from the leader, Art Goebel Ford, Coon Rapids.
Good eye. 1:28 left. Anoka inbounds. Dowdy gets the lob to Adler. He's not the guy who was handling the ball, but they get it to Beckman. He puts on the brakes as he brings it to front court, and he's hacked on the wrist by Muchler.
Beckman is the right guy to foul in this situation. I don't know if I would have given up the foul that quickly, down only by 2. But let's see, Beckman for the year.
Brian Muchler's 4th personal.
Beckman, a 39% shooter in the conference season, 9 for 23. He hasn't been there often, and when he has, the results haven't been very good. This will be interesting.
First free throw on the way. It's good. He hits the pressure free throw. Makes it a 3-point Anoka lead.
That was Beckman's first point, and I tell you, I give him a lot of credit. That's just a pressure-packed situation. He steps up there and hits 2 of them.
And he does. 53-49. 1:19 left, and Anoka's Dowdy comes up with a steal. Gets the return in the front court. Beckman with it. Over to Adler, who extends their offense. High Tampa double team, and he's fouled. With a minute 3 left. They foul Aaron High Tampa, and he'll go to the line and shoot 1 and 1.
A really tough turnover there for Stillwater. Again, the tough defense we've seen from Anoka all year comes up with the big steal when they need it.
Hildy picks up the personal foul. Free throw by Tampa, no good. But he out-hustles the defender and runs the ball down before it goes out of bounds. Dave Tank setting the offense, bringing him out.
That's the guy you don't want to foul right there.
Dowdy on his knees, maintained his dribble, and very alertly called for a timeout.
They called a foul on Hoffman before the timeout. Didn't even need the timeout. He was taking the timeout in a panic there, which he should have done. Foul was called on Hoffman. Now the best free throw shooter they've got goes to the line. And for the year, he's been almost automatic. I don't want to jinx him, but he has been a very strong free throw shooter.
Anoka with a 4-point lead. More importantly, only 47 seconds remains here in regulation. Dowdy makes it 5. Gets ready to shoot the bonus.
Stillwater's going to have to come down, swing the ball around the perimeter, and try and get either Muchler or Clancher the quick 3, and then call a timeout, which would be their last.
Dowdy makes them both. Anoka by 6, 55-49. Muchler in the 3-point area. Finds Hoffman for 3. Short, and the rebound comes down to Dowdy. Dowdy's tied up. He's not tied up. He was manhandled under the basket. And we'll go down to the other end. Or Brian Dowdy will shoot 2.
Hildy grabs him once, grabs him twice, looks at the official like, what do I have to do? Come on now. Finally grabs him a 3rd time.
Got the bear hug on him.
Hey, it's just uncanny how Anoka, down the stretch, intensifies the defense. And not only that, but Dowdy picks his game up to just that next level, gets the rebound. The guy you want on the line is the one that's there. I did jinx him.
He misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Muchler with it. Three-pointer, deals it off. Hoffman double-teamed. Now Muchler for three. An air ball. Follow-up, no good. And the rebound pulled down by Novotny. Cross-court pass, high Tampa. And he finds Dowdy all alone. And he hits the bucket to make it an 8-point game. And this ball shot up and very short as time runs out. Anoka wins 57-49.
Breathing a sigh of relief all the way to the locker room today. I think they're going to realize that they have to get their edge back, but that's a wonderful win against a very inspired Stillwater team.
We'll take a break. Steve and I'll be back with an individual scoring summary in 2 minutes.
Whatever your sport, for 10 years, Copeland.
ABC Newspapers, because a lot is happening in Anoka County. Watch your Anoka County shopper for a special new subscription offer or call 421-4444.
We're back. Steve Lukens, Bruce Frank, as the fans continue to head to the exits, and we'll take a look at the individual scoring summary for the Ponies and the Tornadoes. Steve?
You see on the screen an inspired performance, coming up 8 points short. Stillwater really giving themselves some credit going into next year with an excellent JV team. They did an outstanding job of pressuring Anoka the whole game. Had some key baskets in the fourth to pull close, but Anoka's experience paid off. The scoring was led by Kevin Clancher, who's a junior. He had 16, and another junior, Jeff Hoffman, had 16. Nice to have those 32 back for Stillwater for another year. Then we come into another junior, had 7. That was Rob Wallace, who saw limited time during the season, but really came out today and did a nice job. Mark Hildy, the 6-foot senior, finished with 5. Brian Muchler, the senior point guard, had a 3-pointer for 3. And Nate Danielson, the sophomore, finished with 2. Anoka was, as always, dominating inside, and Dan Novotny played 2 outstanding halves of basketball. He had 12 at halftime, came back with another 14 to finish with 26 to lead all scorers. And that senior deserves a lot of credit. He's really been an outstanding part of Anoka's success all season. Then we go to the 3-year starter, Brian Dowdy, who had a very nice game again. Finished very strong with 2 free throws and a basket to put the thing out of reach. He had 12. 9 points come to Matt Adler, the junior center. He'll be back for another year to agonize opponents. And we have Aaron Hatampa, the senior swing player, finishes with 8. And then Beckman down the stretch, Troy Beckman, the senior point guard, hit 2 free throws that were really key to put the game to a 4-point game and force Stillwater to press the issue a little bit offensively.
Steve, an observation. I didn't think that Adler had played as well this afternoon as we've seen him late in the season.
You know, he seemed to be a little bit out of sync, and he was away from the basket, meaning 10 to 12 feet or more than I've seen him all year. And I don't know if it was an effort to spread the court on the part of Anoka, or if it was just that he never really got in sync of the pick and pass game that Anoka likes to play. He did get some shots on the block, and when they were not made, we saw Novotny come up repeatedly with offensive rebounds. He had to be close to 6 or 8 offensive rebounds. But Adler, he struggled a little bit. And hey, he's a junior. He didn't play at all in region, or very little in regions last year. Now he comes out. That's his first taste of region play. I'm sure he'll go to Williams Arena with some intensity, and he's a good enough player that he's not going to be held down for another game.
And those who see the box score in the paper, and they see Anoka 57, Stillwater 49, will not be aware that, in fact, it was a 2 or 4 point game most of the way.
Yeah, and they aren't going to be aware of the fact unless they watch this show of the nervousness that was going through the crowd with 1.5 minutes to go when Stillwater pulled within 2.
Today the championship, a berth in the state tournament on the line, and it's the Mustangs and the Tornadoes for the 3rd year in a row. Hi, everyone. I'm Anthony Lopato along with John Wackman to call the action for you. And, John, we got our third matchup in a row between these teams in the sectional finals. Mounds View's won the first two.
And, well, Mounds View's trying to keep that trend going, but in the paper, Dave Tank said this is Anoka's year, so we'll see that.